the Latina Leadership Podcast, the podcast made for Latinas by Latinas, with Angelica Cázares, Carolina Arenas, Diana Ruby, Jacqueline Villagomez, and Sonia Ramirez. Get comfortable, amiga, and enjoy the conversations.
Welcome to the Latina Leadership Podcast. Today, we are so excited. Jacqueline and I are introducing the world-famous, multi-talented Adassa. You know her as Dolores in Encanto. But we're so happy and thankful that she's joining us today to share a little bit more about who she is, because she's much more than
Well, you'll hear.
Yeah.
She has an amazing story, an amazing background, and we just can't wait to hear all about it. Adassa, I'm gonna, pass it to you. Tell us who you are and what you do, and let's start from there.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I was super excited to be able to join such powerful women and powering other women to just showcase their talents. So I'm grateful to be here at Latina Leadership Podcast. I'm Adassa. I am a singer-songwriter. I've been in the music industry for over 20 years. I was known as the Princess of Reggaeton, La Princesa del Reggaeton, for a while. And I love making music, and I was retired when Disney reached out to me and asked me if I would audition for this incredible film. I didn't know what it was for, the audition. I just said yes when it was Disney.
Right.
Yes. And what language do you want it? And I'm super excited to now be forever tied to this incredible cast of people that are just so talented and showcase their Latinidad in such a lovely way, and be able to share forever in the success that has become Encanto, because it was the voice for us Latinos that we did not have. You know, Lin-Manuel Miranda has been a champion in the industry and on stage, in film, in every way you can, for giving Latinos their place. And I'm so grateful to have been a part of this project with him, and to be able to give voice to Dolores.
Yes.
And is Adassa your name, your real name, or is that your artist's name?
It is both my artist name and my real name. So the only difference in spelling is that my real name starts with an H. So it's Hadassa. It's from the Bible. And my stage name is Adassa, just dropping the H, but it's my name.
It's beautiful.
Oh.
I love it.
I know, I wanted to ask you about your family, because, we're Latinos, we have these big families, but I know that your family is very important to you. Can you share a little bit about like your family history and growing up?
Oh, family is super important to me. The very first album I ever recorded was a Christian album with my mom, and I grew up Seventh-day Adventist. So just my dad was a pastor, my mom would sing, and she'd play guitar, and that's how we would do a lot of the missionary work as a family. And I've taken that and applied it to my own family. I have 7 children myself, and I've been married for over 25 years with my husband.
Wow.
And I love our family. I love the roots that my parents cultivated and the seed that they so lovingly nurtured in my heart, of both love of the Lord and love of music and love of people, and to always share my heart and in the best way possible with others, and to give them hope. Because sometimes as Latinos, where you start is in a place of you never, and this is where I started 20 years ago. I don't know about other Latinos listening. You start with hopes and dreams, but when you don't see that possibility because nobody's ever walked the walk that you've envisioned for yourself, you sometimes can feel overwhelmed and thinking maybe this is not something I can accomplish.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And in that sense, Lin-Manuel broke the mold on that one. Disney has given an opportunity to be a part of a film in which so many different family members are at the forefront of it. This is a family movie about a real family where there is no villain. There's just, miscommunications and secrets. Lo mismo que pasa en cada familia. The same. It's, all the Brunos we all have in our house.
Yes, I have a lot of Brunos. I have a lot of those.
Right? I mean, come on. Si lo empezáramos a contar, I think we'd be here all day. Well, it's my cousin and mi tía, el tío, el que no se habla. And I think it's just so wonderful to make it tangible for our future generations to know you can make your dreams come true. The only difference is that you have to be willing to put in the effort and believe that you are worth something special, because
Right.
we all are. We all have something unique within us to share with the world, our own stories. There's no two people in the world that I've ever met, and I've met hundreds of thousands of people in my lifetime. And I will tell you, no person has the same story as someone else. It's always different. So share your
Right.
stories. Don't be afraid.
I love that. Adassa, um, did you always know that you wanted to be a performer growing up? Was this something that, that hit you? I mean, I know you grew up singing in church with your family and stuff, but, did you have like a defining moment where you really knew, like, this is, my anointing? This is like this is what God has placed me on earth to do.
I definitely did. I was about 4 years old and I was singing with my mom at church, and I felt it when I was on stage, and I felt the love of the people. And not only that, but just my personal calling was to serve them in song. That's all I knew. I remember one time in particular that we were living in the Virgin Islands, and I accidentally fell down the stairs because I was carrying my mom's guitar, and I didn't want to be late. And so yo traigo la guitarra, and I came down the stairs. I ran too fast and I fell.
No.
And I didn't know it at the moment, but like my wrist was like really hurting. I was like, oh, you know what? I'm just gonna rub it off. It's fine. And
Yeah.
little by little started getting hot and hot. But I was like, I'm not saying anything because
Oh
we're
my
gonna
gosh.
sing.
Yeah.
We went to church and I got on there, and then my mom started the song. And in that time, I would always harmonize. I would do harmony to my mom and my dad.
Mhm.
So we went up, we sang, and then afterwards, I was like, I think there's something wrong with my arm.
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
So we ended up at the ER, and I had broken my wrist. But I was like, never gonna shy away from a
But
performance.
you did, and you did service anyway.
I did. And since then, I've always loved being in the service of others through song, and being able to convey joy and happiness, or really just explore sadness, and know that there is a light at the end of those dark tunnels that we sometimes
Yeah.
find ourselves within. What I didn't know was how much I would enjoy also being a mother. Like I always knew, okay,
Mm.
I'm gonna have kids, but once I became a mom, you sometimes build this idea of who you are, and it's built upon what you do. And at the root of everything, like you have to define, okay, if I could no longer do what I do, would I still be happy with the life I have? And
Right.
what I've enjoyed with my children now is that they've allowed me to grow up with them in a certain way. Even though I'm the mom, like I enjoyed growing with them and learning of myself that yes, we can be singers, we can do art, we can have a job, and we perform in these things, but at the core of everything, we are people who love and
Yes.
want to be loved. And I get to enjoy that with my children. So when I'm not on stage, my life is still fulfilled. And when I'm on stage, I get to share the joy that I live at home with the audience and with others, and listen to their stories, and spend that time with them. So I am grateful, and I feel blessed to be able to enjoy both sides, on stage and off stage, just live a very fulfilled life.
I love that.
that's
I love
beautiful.
that.
That's beautiful. I love your Facebook page, your social media, because it's not just entertainment. It's inspiring. I read in an article one time that you shared God was always planning to pull the curtain back,
Okay.
and as and reveal a scene that's more beautiful than what you could imagine. In my career, I think some of the most favorite artists I've had the chance to interview have been like the Christian artists, like Danny Goki, Torrin Wells, Mercy Me, when their movie came out. That really impacted me. So when I saw that and read that, it's like, oh yes, this is somebody I want to talk more, because you're not afraid of talking about your faith, and I really love
Yes,
that, and I
definitely.
love seeing it like on your social media.
When you go through an experience in which you cannot deny the hand of God in all things, you cannot but testify of his goodness. And
Yeah.
you understand that trials are not meant to punish you, but to refine you.
Yeah.
And I had to live it in a way that I never understood how wonderful my husband was. I mean, we've been married so many years, but when I got sick with COVID during the time that I got casted in this film, and it was already on my call after my callback, and I thought, that's as far as I got. And I got so sick that I was paralyzed for the neck down, and I thought I would never, ever walk again, let alone sing. I mean, just
Wow.
the thought of this is my reality, that staring up at a ceiling was all I would have for the rest of my life. And having my amazing husband sit by my side, who we've been doing music all of our lives. He's a producer for Warner Brothers. He has his own label of music for film and TV. So music is all we've done, all we've known, and we've enjoyed with our family. And to get to a point where I couldn't even stand up to wash a dish because I didn't know if my legs were going to work the next day or not.
Wow.
And he was just like, if this is our reality, then if all we can have is conversation, that's what I want. And his tenderness to uphold the family and hold us up during the times where we didn't know if this was going to be the rest of our lives. I'm so grateful, because in those moments is when I understood our purpose is greater than the thing we've become good at.
Yeah.
I never thought I would be able to sing again. And yet during that time where I was like, I don't know if I'm going to die, I wrote out my will. I every day was just waking up to see if I was still here, because
Oh
I
my
was
goodness.
afraid that I would get paralyzed in the middle of the night and stop breathing. And there's no way to know. And I would just,
Right.
and I would just wake up and thank God every day that I was wiggling my fingers and my toes. And I try to get out of bed. And some days I would, and some days I wouldn't. And other days I would just say, okay, I don't know why this is happening, but I'm going to stop asking why. I'm going to start asking what
Yeah.
I need to learn from this experience. And if it's in thy will for me to go through this and come out on the other side, what do I need to do with what I've learned? And please illuminate me on that. So I was able to ponder more on listening to the voice and the guidance of the Lord than to just think I knew everything and I had my whole life planned. And I'm very, very, I like to know where everything's happening in this moment. I had to relinquish it and just give it and turn it to Jesus. Like I was like, Jesus, take the wheel. Literally, that was it. I can't do anything more but to trust that you know what's best. And luckily I have learned the lesson. So when I feel so greatly and joyful that I have been able to come out on the other end, which not so many others can say the same. And I'm grateful for that. I can't help but share it with the world and say, yes, and of course I've done a lot of things in my musical career. Not everything was, really walking along my principles.
Yeah.
I'm no longer going to hide the fact that I love Jesus and I'm a saint.
Yeah.
At the same
Yes.
time, to share the love I have with my family. And then I get to be chosen to be a part of this family movie in which I get to share with my own kids. My own daughter was in.
Yes. I love that.
I'm just grateful, and I can't help but share how grateful I am for the trials and grateful for the solutions and the rainbows as well as the rain. I'm just grateful for it all.
I love that. I think sometimes when you're going through a difficult time, and God is testing you or teaching you something or whatever it may be, sometimes the hardest thing is to let go. That saying, let go, let God.
Oh,
And
yeah.
sometimes that's the hardest thing, because especially if I'm the same way. I like knowing where I'm going. I like having a plan, and when I don't have that control and I have to release that control, it's scary, But I mean, it's beautiful that we can, we can trust in God, and we know that, at the end of the day, like He knows better than us, right?
Right. Exactly. I mean, if you're going to let go of the reins of something, why wouldn't you do it to someone who knows you better than yourself?
Right.
It's not like you're in a car and you're like, hey, I'm starting to fall asleep. Let's call the 7-year-old to take the wheel. Perfectly safe. 7-year-old knows exactly what he wants and how he wants his life, and every decision is perfect in a 7-year-old's mind. I'm in my 40s and I feel like I'm 7.
That's me. I feel the same way too.
Right? You get older and you learn more. You know that you know less.
Yeah.
Yes, I
it's
agree.
like when we're
I agree.
younger, we think we know it all.
Right.
And I feel like the older we get, it's like I know nothing.
Yes. I wish my mama was still here because I'd be like, now I know why you said that. Now I know why you did that. And it's like, yeah, it's crazy. It's like a circle, a
Yeah.
Yes.
full circle. And then you become the parent and
And I
then
don't
it
know
starts all over.
if you've ever had a parent that says, when you're older and you have your own children, you're gonna know,
Hmm.
that when you're older, you're gonna figure out what I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just trying to protect you. And that's what
They're
I
right.
feel with
Yeah.
Abuela Alma, in this movie, La Abuela Madrigal was trying to save her family. And the
Yeah.
only way she knew how to protect them was to try to keep the dangers at bay. But in reality, she was breaking her family because everybody had a purpose within that family. And I think sometimes because of our wanting to control everything and thinking we know the outcome of everything and wanting to spearhead the battalion of life, we don't understand that we are benching our best soldiers by trying to do it all ourselves.
Yeah.
During the time that I was sick and in bed, I thought the house is going to fall apart. Everything's going to bills aren't going to get paid.
Yeah.
Somehow my children started serving one another. My little girl was started to cook,
Aw.
now that she's 13 years old, she was like 11 and a half in that time. She started to cook. They started to clean up after themselves. And I noticed nothing is going to fall apart. And I need to continue the momentum of love that is happening in this home because service is a great part. And sometimes we feel like we're the only ones that need to serve. But in reality, every single person within a family has its strength. Why is there two Luisas in the Familia Madrigal? Because she needed to have the strength. Dolores
Right.
had the power to hear everything. you know
Right. Yeah. I love
That's
that.
right.
but then again we have Isabella, which brought in the beauty of the earth into the home.
Yes.
But then we had the power to heal. So every single person within our home, if we see each other with those unique gifts and powers, I know they're not manifesting themselves in like, look, I made a
Right.
right now, literal, mira, levanté la cama, te la traje aquí. But it's figurative that each one of us has our own unique gifts. So let's celebrate each other and embrace the fact that we alone don't have to walk this walk. We can do it together.
I love
Yes.
that. That's absolutely true.
Yes, and
That's
I think you've
absolutely
been doing wonderful with the movie. Well, not just the movie, but just in your career and everything you've accomplished. And education is real big for us here at the Latina Leadership Podcast. And I wanted to ask you, as far as like educational wise, do you feel like Encanto, the songs, the characters, have been a great educational source when you're out there to teach the children about different cultures? And what impact have you seen when you're out there?
The impact is that everybody has embraced the beautiful nuances of Latinidad, and that is within Latino communities. Families have been able to have those conversations, and I've even seen kids saying, "I didn't know Spanish, but now like I want to learn Spanish. I want to learn more about my familia. I want to learn more about my roots." Like I'm actually excited and proud to say I'm a Latino because some darker skin folks that I've met, just like I'm a Latina and I'm darker skinned, have just been like, "Oh, I'll just call myself African American," or let's not get into where I'm from.
Yeah.
And now it's like, I am mexicano, yo soy, colombiana, yo soy de Ecuador, yo soy Venezuela, soy de Salvador. Like
I
we're
love that.
so much more animated and excited to share our cultures because our culture finally is celebrated. And of course, everywhere in the world has its difficulties, but it's also filled with beauty that should be shared
Right.
and appreciated. And I love that. And I feel that even people that are not Latinos have gotten a sense of who we are. And also, it goes down to the root of their own familias. I've met people who lost loved ones during the COVID pandemic, and
Mm.
they were like, my mom had to be Abuela Alma. Like, she had to carry us all on her back. I mean, I have met families that have undergone difficult situations. I've also met kids with autism and ADHD, and they tell me, Dolores, I feel like I'm Dolores, like I have these sensitivities, and I feel this character made me feel seen. And
Oh, I love that.
I never pictured that a character like Dolores could have such a great impact and so many could feel identified with her
Yeah.
because of who she was and the sensitivities that she had. And so it touches people in different ways. And I'm so grateful to be a part of that. And I do feel that education is a big part of us being able to grow, because education doesn't exist only within the confines of a classroom. It
Right. Right.
starts within the walls of our own home. So if we are guiding and teaching our children, our family members, our siblings, our aunts, our uncles, sharing those stories, we will better know who we are. And in this world and in this day and age, we need to know who we are. So when we go out there, we can share who we are with the world instead of letting the world tell us who we are.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Amen. I love
Yeah,
that.
absolutely.
Yes.
Now, and I thought about this just now. Now you're a mother of seven. You know, in this day and age, you know, what are some how do you navigate that? Because I feel like in this day and age, especially, it's especially challenging because you have like the dangers of social media and you have, how do you navigate that?
Okay, if it was for me, if it was for me, my kids would live in bubble wrap and never turn on a TV. But my husband, he's so gracious and so loving and kind. He's like, look, we're doing a disservice to our kids if we don't teach them how to navigate social media now. Because
Yeah.
it's true, they're going to be in this world whether we like it or not. Okay.
Right.
We can try to hide our heads in the sand like a flamingo and
Yeah.
just be like, everything's going to be fine. And when he's 18, he's going to thrive. Bye.
Yeah. No.
No, it doesn't work that way.
So when they encounter something, this is just for me. I'm not like saying this is, something I feel that everybody should undertake. I'm just telling you how I do it. Each one of our kids are going to decide who they are along the way of their life. They're going to choose what happiness looks like to them. But in our home, I'm going to teach them what happiness is to us and where we feel the best principles have guided our lives to having the most joy and the most love and the most care for others, and as well as standing up for our own rights and convictions that I feel is important. Now, as they grow up and they decide who they are, they have that seed planted within them. In our home, we do allow our kids social media, but at the same time, we have a cutoff time. We literally disconnect the internet in our home and everybody goes to sleep and nobody can turn it back on. And like, I know the whole password protections, we tried that, but our kids are so smart, they would figure it out. So then sacamos el cable de la pared, boom, you're done. It's over, guys. We're all going to sleep. So it actually has helped the kids get up earlier and start with a newfound joy. Like they're starting to do other things outside. But at the same time, whenever they encounter something within social media, we have a conversation about it. Because we're not going to allow somebody else who doesn't have our vision and our principles to tell our kids what is what, But at the same time, we need them to know you have this is what I told my kids the other day, you have a free, never-ending vending machine in your home. You can sit there and eat all the snacks until your belly explodes, or you can say, I'm just going to have a couple cookies today, and that's good. And they have to learn to navigate that, because in the moment they leave the home, they have to have a structure in place that is just like getting up, going to the bathroom, brushing your teeth, take a shower. Like it's just part of your system. It's part of the pattern of life. Right. And so when they're all out there and nobody's telling them, hey, what are you doing? What are you watching? It's 1:00 in the morning. You should go to sleep. They automatically go, I want to go to sleep. I don't want to. This doesn't make me feel good. And I had a conversation about this, and maybe I shouldn't watch that show, or this doesn't make me feel good. Like I don't feel like good about this thing, and I can put this down. I could change the channel. I could shut this down, because at the end of the road, they're going to go out and live their lives, and I'm living mine. I'm not going to keep them in my house forever.
I know.
That's like 7. It's like I only have 1.
It's a challenge, but you grow, they grow, and I tell them, all the time. I'm like, look, you have been gifted into our home because there's something that you need to learn from me, and there's something you need to learn from your father. But at the same time, what we hope for you to do is supersede anything we've ever accomplished, because I feel that if our kids become wealthier than us, smarter than us, more accomplished than us, is the biggest accomplishment as a parent, that they take all the good and they start earlier than we did, because I started as far as my parents could throw it. My dad came into the United States como un colombiano with one-way ticket from Colombia, that the church gathered funds for him to get. And he did every job under the sun, washing windows, cleaning floors, doing absolutely everything to
Mhm.
save up enough money to bring his family from Colombia. And they, luckily, my mom and my dad knew each other from Colombia, got remarried here in the married here in the United States when they found each other again, and we were born here. But I started from a group of people from my family. They came here. Like they
Yeah.
weren't born with all these comforts. So I learned a certain lifestyle and I had certain struggles growing up that now my children will never know. Like when she was casting this film, I'm like, I was dreaming of Disney. I was like 7. Mermaid came out. I was like, part of that world.
Oh man, yeah.
And for her, it's like, oh, she's 8 years old and she gets cast in this movie. I'm like, it took me.
Wow,
That's exciting.
that's amazing. Wow. Wow.
So, what plans do you have coming up? What's next for Adassa?
Yes.
What can we expect?
I have a Christian album coming out, and
Yay.
it's coming out in just about 60 days.
Oh
And
my gosh.
Wow.
faith-based album, and the title of the album is In Jesus We Are One, and I'm
love
super
that.
excited. So excited, yes.
In Jesus, we
Wow.
are one.
Yes.
Oh, that's amazing. That's
And
amazing.
I really feel that, we chose this title. My husband and I wrote all of the songs. We co-wrote the songs. We had a choir from Nigeria that joined in. We had a
Oh
choir
wow.
from Arizona, some great friends from a Baptist church. So we united people from different denominations to come in and sing on this album. We have our friend in London who also participated in the arrangement with my husband. He produced the whole album. So I wanted to bring in, along with my husband, people from different faiths to just testify of how Jesus is good to us, and through him we are redeemed. And so we are so excited to share our love of Jesus with the world. It's not about, I can believe in a religion. I was brought up in a different religion. I am now a different religion, but it's not about religion. It's like, can we just agree that we love Jesus? Can we just
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
And
Right.
you go to church and all the different things. You know what? I feel
Right.
that if we don't come together and really unite in purpose like other people do, we won't have the strength to survive what is coming and what is
Yeah.
currently happening in the world. So if we
Mhm.
just agree on one thing and from there garnish the strength to walk arm in arm, we'll be all right.
I love
That's
that.
beautiful.
That's
That's great
beautiful.
advice. That's a great way to think about life and to stay positive, because these are times that I don't think any of us thought we would live through, the pandemic. And it's like,
Yeah.
definitely our parents didn't go through anything like this, but it's so beautiful to have an artist like you that's out there inspiring us and helping us, believe and know that things are going to be okay, and then the music providing, making these beautiful songs, and
as
inspiring
as a
everybody.
fellow Latina too,
Mhm,
I think
mhm.
it's just really good to, as a Latina, artist. I think you're bringing not only attention to the message in your music, but you are inspiring other generations of Latinas who maybe have not seen a Latina out there as yourself. And so I think it's really good exposure and just
Yes, because I feel like we just have so much further to go. We've come a little bit of ways, but every time I see these shows or I see these programs, it's like, where are the Latinos? Where are the Latinas? It's like,
yes,
our stories, we have so many stories to tell. I personally, I have so many stories to share. I would love to just have the opportunity to get them out there, and to have somebody like yourself that's out there. You're doing it, you're making it and showing everybody. I just wish more doors would open, for Latinos in general.
I think that it's a matter of time and it's a matter of persistence. Like if you have a story to tell, there are so many platforms right now, like Instagram, you have Twitter, you have, Facebook, that are vehicles in which you can put your stories out. And the first people that can support your thoughts, your story, is your community. So make friends in your community, and show them that it is a beautiful thing to share who they are. Share your story with the world, because other people will begin to share theirs. That's what causes this. It's kind of like a reflex. You know what I mean? If you do this, they'll do this, and then that causes that synergy to happen with
Mhm.
community that everybody will be excited to tell their stories. And let me tell you, I mean, my life has taken me in different ways. Musically, I took left turns and right turns. There were moments where I thought, you know what, I want to push that line to the gray, but in reality there's only black and white. And I'm grateful to have the opportunity to have my voice back, to be able to sing and now say the things that I want to say.
Yeah.
Who I am has been forged by what I've done before, but sometimes we feel like maybe things that we've done in our past keeps us from coming and feeling forgiven. But the first person that is eager to forgive us is God, and if we just come
Yeah.
to him through his son Jesus Christ and look for that forgiveness, we can be healed. And then if we truly believe that we can be healed and we can be forgiven and we can be reborn, because I feel reborn, then we need to forgive ourselves from the things we've done in our past, and then turn our hearts, and our paths will align with his will, and we'll find so much more joy that route and that way. And I wish you the best and your baby. Oh my goodness, this is
Oh, thank you so much.
And I know Jacqueline wanted to ask you, because we can't have Adassa on our show and not ask, what is it like to work with Lin Manuel? Because
oh
I met him years ago when he had just done In the Heights. My daughter and I were in New York, and we went to see In the Heights, and we went to the back, and he came up to us. And my daughter, I was looking at my daughter. He asked us, "So, what did you think about the show?" And he really wanted to hear what we thought about the show. And he listened. And then he's the one that said, "You want to take a picture?" It's like,
wow.
yes. And so my daughter, we took a picture. And then my daughter's like, was so, because she was younger then, she was like 13. So he just walked, I guess to take the subway, walked away. And my daughter just thought it was so, surreal that he's just walking
Like, did
like
that just
regular.
happen?
Yeah, did that just happen?
I think that he is a truly humble person that is very well in tuned with the voice of the people, and he knows how to translate the yearnings of a Latin heart into the stage and into music. And he's so prolific, and I'm grateful that we didn't just have the opportunity to work together over Zoom, but then again, when we did the concert at the Hollywood Bowl, 2 sold out nights, 18,000
Mhm.
people in LA, that was just
Amazing.
insane. And he was the one that introduced us on stage. So it was so wonderful to be again with him, and to to know a person that didn't just get it handed to him. And I think that a lot
Right.
of us within the Madrigal family, a lot of us in Encanto have gone through that. In life, it has not been easy to get to where we've been, and the humility that he always showcases, and appreciation towards the talents of others, and willingness to allow ourselves to bring who we are into the character is very gracious of him. And I'm grateful to have dealt with him. He honestly makes you feel like you're like best friends forever.
Right. He
Aw.
did. That's like,
He comes
he made
off
me
that
feel like
way,
we knew each
right?
other, like we were old friends.
Yeah, it's like, all right, bye. See you. Yeah,
Aw.
he really does. He doesn't change. It's exactly like that. I was in the camerino, and you can see it on my TikTok. I carried around my little Dolores doll for a long time, and I was like, "Hey, you want to do something with Dolores?" And he was like, "Sure." And we just turned on the camera. My husband was on the other side, and we just bantered, and it was hilarious. And he was so game with it, like. No se le ha subido a la cabeza que digas, oh no, I don't do stuff like that. Like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
down to earth. And we had a great time. So even Dolores had her little moment with
Aw.
Miranda, so it was cool.
I'm gonna,
That's so cool.
I want to tell you, when y'all sang at the Oscars, I cried. I mean, I was just so full of orgullo watching y'all sing that song, and all those Latinos on one stage. I mean, that was like beautiful. And I just wanted to make sure I told you that.
Oh, thank you. We were all surprised. Trust me, I was in the middle of an airport when I started getting congratulations. Oh my gosh, you're going to be at the Oscars. It was like, what? We didn't even we didn't even know. Like, we had to
Oh my
call
gosh.
Yvette Merino, one of the producers. I was like, Yvette, what's going on? Like, I'm about to hop on a flight where we're supposed to go to LA. What's going on? They're like, yeah, hold on. Let me get back to you, because I just
Oh
got
my god.
Wow.
from the UK. And like, wait. And so, yeah, we were all surprised and so grateful. It was so wonderful. So we've had multiple opportunities to be able to share the love of Encanto, be able to sing a little, grew to live in fear, but no stuttering or stumbling. I can always hear him sort of muttering and mumbling. I guess it's the sound of falling sand.
I love that.
With the world. So it's been wonderful.
Oh my gosh.
Well, thank you so much. We appreciate you sharing your time with us today. And I just wanted to do one more quick little game. It's like a lightning round. We're just gonna ask you a few questions and you just have to answer like real quick.
All right.
And it's gonna be like just simple questions like what's your favorite color? But it's just a few of them. So we'll ask the question and then you just answer right away. Like
Sounds good.
So here we go. It's a lightning round. Few questions with Adassa. Favorite date night?
Every night.
Good answer. Okay, favorite ice cream?
Ooh. I would have to say I'm a sherbet girl, so like orange sherbet.
I like sherbet.
Sherbet's good.
Favorite food?
Ooh, arepas con queso. And
oh my gosh. Oh, some of those. I love those.
Oh my gosh.
Chorizo, so because he's from Mexico. So ahora son arepas de chorizo y quesito, sí.
That's so
oh my
good.
gosh. Oh my gosh. Favorite season?
All of them. I love the changing seasons. That's why I love being in Tennessee. But if I had to just choose one, I would choose summer because I love going to the beach.
Nice. Favorite quote or scripture?
Oh my. Lean not unto thy own understanding. I love that one.
Good one. That's a good one.
That one.
I have to remind myself about that one.
Yeah, I know. Don't we all though?
Yes.
Don't we all?
Yeah.
You have a favorite song?
Favorite song. I would have to say Love One Another is my favorite song. And I like His Eye is on the Sparrow. I used to sing that one a lot.
His
that's a pretty one.
on the sparrow.
There we go. But I know He watches
me.
Oh.
I love that song.
And then last one is your favorite decade.
My favorite decade has to be the 80s.
Yes. I'm an 80s girl.
Leaving in there, you know what I mean? That's staying alive.
Yes.
I love that. I really did. Olivia Newton-John time, all of that.
Oh,
we went to the AMAs and Pink was doing a rendition of Hopelessly Devoted.
Yes.
My husband and I were sitting and we were just singing to each other because we literally sing that song. Like we play it as one of our playlist songs every night, you know, and we didn't know the cameras were on us. And when we were like about to leave the AMAs, we hear like, oh my goodness, we saw you guys. I'm like, saw us where? That is not our personal edit. We did not Pink's video. People think that. I'm like, I do not have that kind of time. I have 7 kids. Hello, let me remind you.
Like, no, y'all genuinely like this song. Y'all were into it.
Yeah, when we sing it to each other. So it was nice. It was nice to have that.
I love that. Me and my husband also like that song, and we sing it too.
Right? It's a beautiful one. It's beautiful.
It's a beautiful song. Aww.
Well, thank you so much, Adassa. And if people want to follow you, they can find you everywhere. TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, your website.
It's Adassa Official, and that's Adassa ADASSA Official, and that's on Instagram, TikTok, on my everywhere, Twitter. So please follow, and the music will be out, like I said, in 60 days, especially on Facebook. Follow me on Facebook. I'd love to chat, and I like to post things regularly. So I'll see you guys. So send me an Instagram or shout out on Facebook.
You heard it here,
Thank
folks.
you so much,
Thank you so much, Adassa.
This has really been a pleasure. This
is
really
the highlight of my year.
Being with you guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
What did you think of the conversation? If you enjoyed what you heard, let us know in the comments. And please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with your friends. Thank you for listening to the Latina Leadership Podcast, and we will see you next time.